And welcome back to another episode of The Credit Authority. I am your host, Rhonda Kulch, and we are so excited to take today's episode and thank our sponsors. So thank you so much to Equity First. If you are experiencing credit and or financial challenges, feel free to reach out to any one of their trained industry professionals. They are bilingual, nationwide, and waiting for your call. They could be reached at area code 631-714-4822. And with us today, we now have our final guest, David Lionheart. How are you?
I'm doing great, Rhonda. Thank you so much. Happy holiday to you.
Yes, happy holiday to you. And I know I'll see you hopefully next week, so that'll be amazing. I know how busy you are, and I look at your schedule and I don't know how you manage to get everything done, but I really wanted to take today's episode and speak about the work that you do for our veterans with your organization, Play for Your Freedom. So tell us a little bit about what inspired you to get started.
Sure. Thank you, of course, for giving folks like myself a voice on such a great show, and thank you for all you do in the community. Play for Your Freedom, we're a veteran organization that's we provide fitness and peer-to-peer support for vets and their families as they're transitioning from military life to civilian life. And coincidentally, we're going to be 10 years old this year. This next October, we're going to be celebrating our 10th annual football classic, which was our kind of original game that we started playing to raise awareness and raise funds for veterans in the community. And since then, kind of just fast forward over the 10 years, it's a very complex community with a lot of pretty serious needs when they come home from service. And when somebody serves in the family, the whole family serves. So it's really important on our end that we're not only taking care of the service member, but also their supporting cast, whether it's at home, whether it's their friends and their families. So we provide a wellness workshop, which is a several-hour event, and we play sports, and we have music and art, and then we conclude with a healthy meal and kind of coming together as a family, to break bread and just kind of resonate and talk with each other on how their day's going and what went on. And they go back to their hospital, wherever they're receiving treatment, or back into the community after that experience. And we always encourage them to come back and volunteer with us if they've enjoyed their experience, and oftentimes they do. So I'm a civilian. I'm just a carpenter. So I didn't serve, but ever since I've been knocking on the door of trying to find out how we can offer some more support and help our veterans, I've learned so much, and I know I still have a lot more to learn. But we've done a lot of really great things in our time. We've served over 5,000 veterans and their families since we started doing our wellness workshops roughly 8 years ago. And pre-pandemic, we were in 8 different states and 15 different hospitals across the country. And that's as a volunteer-based organization, so nobody gets paid, including myself. So everybody who's involved and interested is there because they want to be, with an open heart and an open mind. And I always tell everybody they have the tools to make a difference in somebody's life just by showing up with a smile and being willing to listen.
I know I saw you after you did one of your events upstate New York, and you had a mutual friend of ours who joined you by the name of Gary Brown. And What does it mean to the veterans when you are able to not only show up with yourself and your team, but you bring a Super Bowl champ with you to share the experience of tossing the ball?
Well, it's very special, and although I don't always tell Gary, I'm a kid at heart too, and it's exciting for me. When anybody takes the time out of their day to be there for somebody, it means a lot. When you get somebody with an accomplished career like Gary, who comes out and does the same, it is very special. And what's cool about him is that he doesn't walk in on a high horse and expecting people to woo and woe over him. He gets right in the game. He's faced his own challenges, and it's really cool. Like when I say all our volunteers bring their blessings, one of his blessings is his football career, but it's also his compassion and his empathy and his ability to create a vulnerable space for people to feel comfortable, to not feel judged. And he's always thanking them for their service, because without them, he wouldn't have been able to play football in the NFL. So there's a really incredible common ground between the two. and they just it works really, really well. And you never know who you're going to connect with. And it's great when we have the veterans that come back as well, because they offer that peer-to-peer support, because they know what they went through with and for one another. And so there's so many different levels of hospitality on our end, and it's made up of really, really good people. And Gary's one of them. And we've had some other NFL alumni come through as well: Odessa Turner, Stephen Baker, and Damian Gregory, and a bunch of other great guys. You know what? When they get there, they're just guys. And they're just so willing to help and get hands on and serve food and set up cones and dig right in, because once everybody starts sweating and smiling, you kind of break down some of those barriers, and it helps people who might be using medications to fall asleep if they're exercising. It helps people who might not have spoken to somebody in a long time share a conversation and feel a little bit more humanized and welcome. And so I'm really blessed to have this in my life and to be able to help.
I love it. And now I know that with the work that you've done, you recently came out with, I want to say, a documentary, PTSD, The Walking Wounded. Tell us a little bit about that and where we can follow your journey.
Sure. It's available on all major platforms. So if you Google it, it's on iTunes, Amazon, etc. And, I saw, sorry, it's tough. Amidst the joy, we see a lot of pain and a lot of loss and a lot of people that lose a battle internally when they're just trying to figure out how to live a normal life and get back on track. So I realized we couldn't possibly get in front of as many people in person as we could if we had a movie that kind of shared a message. And it's a real movie it's a talking head style documentary of real people from inside their homes sharing what it's like to be a family member who's lost somebody, to whether it was an opioid addiction. PTSD is a very real and strong emotion, and some combat veterans who were on the brink of losing themselves, but stuck it out and are trying to get back on track. So we wanted to share the real story with people and have the hard conversations that we can save lives with it, because if we're not talking about it, who is? And this documentary is an elegant way of walking you through what it's like from when somebody signs their name on a line, goes into service, and they find themselves in a helicopter, going to protect their country, to being in a grocery store and pushing a shopping cart and wondering, what the heck am I doing here? It's a very big transition. So we're trying to shed light on that. It'll help employers who might have somebody that works for them that was in the military. If they're a little late, they might have slept for a couple days. If they have some emotional issues, they might just need somebody to talk to. So education is key, and we want to help more people learn more about our veterans, connect that gap between the civilian and military world. And instead of only saying thank you for your service, saying, how are you doing today? And making friends instead of just like throwing a quarter in a bucket for a poppy at the grocery store and running away. Just saying hello, a smiling face, hold the door. You see them wearing the hats, you know who they are. And even shedding some light on our female veterans who are often thought of as support systems when they're actually the veterans themselves. They think they're a wife or a spouse or a sister or something, and kind of shedding some light on our women warriors too, because, they are an equal part of our American service force. So we try to do a lot with it and get the positive messages out there and help educate people. So the documentary is a great way to see it. You can find us at playforyourfreedom.org. If you want to reach out and say hello, if there's anything that we can do for you, if we can't do it, we try and find somebody who can. That's why we had to create that film, and it's been a huge blessing, and it's been going across the nation. I'm on podcasts in Chicago and California with veterans who have discovered it and are using it as a tool within their communities to help people come together.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I am blessed to have you as a friend, David Lionheart, and I am looking forward to seeing you soon. So once again, you are listening to The Credit Authority. We are speaking with David Lionheart. If veterans are close and near and dear to your heart, considering making a donation, visit playforyourfreedom.org. Learn more about what David and his organization does to support our amazing men and women that serve our country. And until next time, everybody, have a wonderful week.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.